Tyler, the Creator, just announced that his new album, Don't Tap the Glass, will be releasing this Monday, July 21st. Massive announcement for the community because Chromacopia just released back in November of 2024. Hasn't been a year yet, and he's coming back with a new studio album for 2025. So, guys, if you want to keep up with all of the updates on this new Tyler rollout, hit the subscribe button, and we're doing a massive live album reaction with our community to Don't Tap the Glass. All you have to do is visit the pinned comment and subscribe to the reaction tier. I hope to see you guys there. But Lou, let's get into this.
Yes, sir.
So if you were at the Chromacopia tour in Brooklyn, when he announced this, it would have came as a shock to you. He kind of announced it after the news broke out on Twitter because he updated the Golf Wang site, and then after that, you got the vinyl release date. Not only that, but if you were at that show, you were able to see a Don't Tap the Glass statue. It was Tyler in this sort of framed glass box, and then after that, at the bottom, on this sort of stamped plate, it said, Don't Tap the Glass. So it seems like we're in rollout mode. We have the date for it. What do you make out of this, Lou? Because we were just in a rollout last November. So are you happy about this? Do you think it's too soon? Do you think it's a good move for Tyler? How do you feel as a fan?
It's never too soon
It's
for a new
never
Tyler,
too
the
soon,
Creator album. No, when you're talking about like one of the greats currently in the genre, I'll take an album every 6 months, 3 months, every fucking day, if that's what it's going to take.
Imagine he just goes into like a YB schedule where he starts releasing studio albums every 3 months.
That'd be crazy. But if you really think about it, the Tyler, the Creator fan base is one of the most well-fed fan bases in all of hip-hop because not only are you getting an album on average every 2 years, but you're getting loosies and freestyles in between. He's constantly going on tour. I just love seeing how active he is right now, and I feel like he really wants to make his mark and continue to solidify his legacy with these recent releases. And this one is super exciting just because, like you said, it came out of nowhere. This is sort of a surprise album. And what's interesting is that he's just coming off the heels of Chromacopia, which was arguably his best written, most personal body of work. And now we're seeing him go into this new era. And of course, the same types of questions that usually come up with a new Tyler album arise this time again, right? Is there going to be a new alter ego? What's the direction of the album going to be? If you go on the website, don'ttaptheglass.com, what's interesting is that you have to literally tap the glass with a hammer to actually enter the website.
Okay, fire.
And it's kind of, it reminded me of Get Rich or Die Trying. And that's something that I'm realizing so far with the rollout. I don't know if you noticed this too. There's been a lot of like hip hop homage to different artists, different eras.
There has been.
Even if you look at that statue you were talking about, he has these really big arms that remind me of Ludacris's music video Get Back when he has those massive inflated arms. You could also say that he kind of, based on the chains he's wearing, reminds you of like some old shit Run DMC would have rocked. So it's very interesting to see that maybe this album is going to be his ode to the hip-hop that he loved because, let's not forget, he just is coming off of his feature on POV off of the Clips album. So let me ask you that. Do you think this is going to be a full-on rap album?
Oh, well, yeah, he's a rapper, and he said it before in so many
made
different...
Igor's,
no,
though.
I get it, I understand, but I think based off of Call Me If You Get Lost and Chromacopia, it seems like he's in a rap direction, and especially last year he was doing an interview, and he said that he loves hip-hop, he says he loves being a rapper, and that, you know, he loves everything about this genre, and that he doesn't like the fake imitation or all of the things that kind of dilute this genre. So, in my opinion, looking at this rollout, especially coming off the heels of the Clips feature, it's like, okay, let's continue to carry this torch, right? Clips is set to sell 113,000 copies first week, one of the most exciting mainstream albums in the entire year. Let's keep this tradition alive. Not only that, but going into this week, you have this album, you have a new Metro Boomin mixtape that's supposed to feel like old Southern Atlanta hip-hop, and then after that, you're getting Alfredo too. So for me, as a hip-hop fan, I'm happy because, to be honest with you, it was just getting fucking stale, dude. The sound was getting stale. We needed big dogs like Clips, like a Tyler, like a Metro Boomin, like a Freddie Gibbs and Uncle Al to come back and create the excitement in the genre once again. And to be able to see him do this in the middle of a Chromacopia tour, to me, it just indicates he doesn't give a fuck, bro. He wants us to have this album. He's down to release music, and it's enough. It's enough of the games. Let's get back to rapping, and let's get back to a place where we're releasing quality records, and I think that's what he wants to do. But looking at this new era and this aesthetic, it's crazy too, because like you were saying, it reminds me of like old vintage hip-hop aesthetic, especially with the chains, the big arms. It feels like he's going to to go into a direction where he's going to take that traditionalism of hip hop and he's going to want to spread it to the masses and to the new fans maybe that he's cultivated over his past albums. So let me ask you another question, right? Looking at 2025, we just got Let God Sort Him Out, right? That's arguably album of the year right now. Do you think this is an album of the year contender?
100%. Anytime that Tyler drops an album, it's instantly going to be an album of the year contender. We've seen it with Chromacopia. We saw it with Call Me If You Get Lost. Every album cycle, it just repeats. But what's really interesting, too, about this website is when you go on it, there's actually an instruction manual. So
Yeah.
step 1, it says body movement, no sitting still. Step 2, only speak in glory, leave your baggage at home. And 3, don't tap the glass. So what do you kind of make of all this? The first one, body movement, no sitting still, I feel like he's going to have some like trunk rattling songs that are going to get people
Explosive.
moving in a crowd, whatever the case may be. That's kind of what I get from that first one.
I do as well.
Number 2, only speak in glory, leave your baggage at home. What do you make out of that?
Be honest, be real. Live your raps,
And
and leave
what-
everything at the door, right?
And what about don't tap the glass? I think that's like don't fuck with me.
Don't fuck with Tyler.
Yeah, I
Right?
think that's what it is. I think that this is
Yeah.
going to be similar to maybe Call Me If You Get Lost in the sense of he's going to be on his braggadocious rap shit.
Yes, but you still
And-
did get songs within that album experience that did kind of feel like Igor cuts, right?
For
With
sure.
this album, I think like we're kind of far away from that era, and there's a bunch of new sounds that have been probably cooked up, either from the Chromacopia sessions or anything that he's probably been doing after that. But think about it. He's also going to have new material now to perform on this tour. Fun fact, guys, we're going to be one of the first shows in Montreal to be able to hear Tyler play this new album. And Lou and I and the team, we're going to be going. So that's going to be a fucking massive night. But what do you make out of this rollout? Why do you think he did it this soon? And why do you think it's coming off of a surprise rollout? Why not, go crazy like you did with the Chromacopia tour, or maybe like you did with, the Call Me If You Get Lost tour with the billboards and the phone number? Why do you think he just wants to put this out and give it to the fans?
I think he wants to extend the victory lap, which again, I feel like that was sort of the point of Call Me If You Get Lost, but he's just continued to rise since that album. And at this point, like, he was making the claims on even Chromacopia, saying like, I'm top 2, like out of the West. I'm right behind Kenny. So I just feel like, again, he wants to stay fresh in people's minds. He wants to continue to dominate. And honestly, more than anything, I just feel like he got inspired, bro. At the end of the day, for him to be coming back with an album this soon, Tyler is not the type of artist to make an album just for the sake of, feeding the fans or just for the sake of staying relevant. No, like, if he's making an album, he was super inspired to put together this body of work, whatever it ends up sounding like. So that's kind of my take on it. What I want to ask you, though, is features, because we already kind of have some word on one big feature who's almost a lock at this point.
And it's going to be Pusha T.
It's going to be Pusha T, because what ended up happening was when Tyler tweeted Monday, July 21st, Pusha T quote retweeted, and he put the eyes emoji.
Yeah.
So if that's not confirmation, I don't know what else will be. But someone else that people want to see on this album, obviously, is Kendrick Lamar. Obviously, he was an expected feature, Tyler, on GNX. That didn't end up happening, but we know that they've been tight. They've had a lot of conversations. They've worked together. Tyler was at the pop-out. So do you see that happening, and who else could you see on
I
here?
would love to see Kendrick happening, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's going to happen on a Kendrick record first or on a Tyler record. I think the community would absolutely fucking explode. You get a Pusha T, or honestly, I want to see Malice on this. Not just Pusha T anymore. We got to put Malice in
Facts.
these conversations. I want to see a Malice feature as well alongside Pusha T, and I want to see the K-Dot one. Another feature that I think would be fucking great is J. Cole. Cole has been super silent this year, especially with all of the rumblings of the offseason in the beginning of January, even going back to 2024. It would be a crazy grand entrance once again, right? It's a hip hop focused album from what we're seeing as far as this rollout goes. Maybe it's gonna be like a neo soul album. I have no fucking idea. I haven't listened to the album experience, but with this one, I think it's gonna be super fire, because if it is that rap direction, I want to see like really top tier MCs make this track list.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I'm looking at it. Even someone like a Conway the Machine could be crazy on a track list like that. If you get like a super dark production, maybe some Alchemist production. Well, I don't know if he's gonna have other producers come in and produce on this album, because he usually self-produces all of his stuff, but there's usually a couple of outlier placements on a track list for Tyler, and that's another producer I would love to see on this.
100%.
How about yourself?
Yeah,
Three
no,
features you want to see?
Features I want to see, like, as basic as it is, Kendrick, bro. We've been waiting on that collab for years at this point. I would love to see Frank Ocean maybe in a rapping capacity, maybe in a singing capacity for a hook, whatever it is. I want to see that reunion. And then another one that I would give you, probably Jid. Again, if it's like the elite rap album that I think that it will be, you just want to see top tier lyricists for the most part, right? So I think that's what it's probably gonna end up being. Who I don't want to see on the album, at least for the specific song that I heard, Doechii. If that Doechii LV, the song that was previewed at the Louis Vuitton fashion show, if that shit makes the album, that's an auto skip, bro. Like right off the bat, I hope that he takes that off, even though I do have a feeling it's gonna be on the album. So yeah, hopefully just good curation choices with the features. But another thing that's a possibility, I hope this doesn't happen, but Tyler at a Camp Flognaw interview in like 2023, he was just speaking about like the future of his catalog, and he was saying how he's gonna keep putting out music, but at one point after he builds up the catalog a bit more, and this was right before Chromacopia, he said that he might at some point put out a full-length project that's sort of based on like extras, like songs that didn't make the cuts of certain albums, songs that maybe he freestyled in between albums, like a That Guy, for example. So I think that's another possibility. I hope that's not the case, but you might get like Tyler's Untitled Unmastered with this thing, where he just puts out like leftover songs that didn't make the cut. I don't think so, because
he did that with Call Me If You Get Lost in the estate sale back in 2023.
He did.
Right?
So usually like he'll separate it from the actual like studio album experience, but you never know. He might do again.
But with that album, it did feel like a deluxe, right? You had gotten 6
No,
songs.
yes, but what I'm saying is that what he had said in the interview is like he might put out an album where it's like songs from different eras, like just all kind of
but
meshed
that could be
together.
super cool as
it
well.
It could be
right?
hard, yeah, for sure.
Because even going back to when he kind of did the same thing with the Call Me If You Get Lost era, and when he dropped the estate sale, I got songs on there like What a Day and like Sorry Not Sorry, and those ended up making my top 10 end of the year lists, right? So if I get those type of records, I'm always down for it. Imagine getting other cuts from the Flower Boy era, but we'll see what happens. I mean, the fact that he's dropping this soon, to me, like you said, means that he's creatively inspired. He wants to go again. He loves hip hop. It seems like there's this sort of cryptic rollout going on, and it's not as grandiose as the other ones. It's more stripped back. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a crazy night on the 21st. So with that being said, if you guys want to catch our first live album reaction to Tyler's new album, Don't Tap the Glass, all you have to do is visit the pinned comment. Lou, I'll see you there. It's going to be a massive night on the 21st. I hope to see you guys there. And guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.